Okay, guys, alternate ending. Take 43.
With so many movies on the net and TV, it's kinda hard being up and film savvy. Do you catch a show while you're on the go? And how do you know what to keep or what to throw? How do you know what to keep or what to throw? Tune in to alternate ending. Tune in to alternate ending. Tune in to alternate ending. Tune in to alternate ending now. Please give a warm welcome to the hosts of Alternate Ending.
Welcome to Alternate, discovering good movies one bad movie at a time. I'm film school dropout Rob Jarasinski. Across from me is our casual moviegoer Carrie Jarasinski, and returning in studio, our very own critic in residence, Tim Brayton. Returning, but you didn't drive yourself, Tim.
I did not drive myself because, as we all know, and by we I mean 3 people in this room, and now all of you out there in podcast land, I don't drive. I've never driven. The last time I was behind the wheel of a car with the ignition on. Period, just to like sort of edge it up in the driveway. Probably 2001, maybe 2000.
When you did that, were you in your dad's lap?
My mother's, thank you very much.
Okay, that just make those
don't tantalize me. But no, not a driver. I went. My parents had to fight tooth and nail to get me to go to driver's ed in the first place. So I didn't even get my driver's permit until I was like 16 and a quarter years old. Hated every minute of it. Gave me the only actually debilitating panic attack I've ever had.
Oh,
so
yeah, I feel like an asshole.
So don't drive.
With so many movies,
but you're getting a car.
I'm getting potentially a car and for sure a driving permit. So now that I've said all that, drivers of Madison, Wisconsin, you have a terrified menace waiting for you sometime in the next few weeks.
Well, are you nervous at all about I believe you have to pass some sort of test. Like, is it the academics? I assume it's not the academics. It's the physical driving. Like, how are you on the knowledge of driving?
Well, so here's my tale of woe. Spring break is behind us, which means that I actually had days that I could go to the DMV, famously everybody's favorite place where you just get right out, no long wait. And I will say, when I was there, short wait. I was in and out of the DMV in probably less than 45 minutes. Unfortunately, this is because I did not have the documentation I needed to get a permit. Turns out you need an original, or at least in the state of Wisconsin, you need an original birth certificate. But I did pass the written exam, flying colors, 15 out of 15 on the identify the shape of signs part of the test. Octagon? It's a red octagon. What is it?
Gosh darn it. Is it red and white?
The picture was merely red.
Okay, I'm going to go stop sign.
That is correct.
Woo! Thanks. I was between caution and
stop. If it is a yellow triangle in the shape of a pennant pointing to the right, what does that mean?
Gosh darn it if I know.
Is that a yield?
That is a no passing zone.
Passing zone. Yeah.
So 15-15 on the sign.
I drive Tim.
So I guess this is a yes week. Passing zone. Congratulations, Tim.
Exactly.
Very exciting.
And 47-50 on the rules of the road, which I didn't like that I passed. I feel if you get even one of those questions wrong, you should automatically be disqualified for at least a full year from having a driver's license.
Yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you?
It turns out you can miss 10 of 50, which seems reckless and
reckless
insane.
And too much. Yeah. And here's the other problem with driving tests. They should do regional driving tests where it's like how you drive in the Midwest versus like how you drive.
They do.
Oh,
the Wisconsin driver's test had a bit about what do you do if a deer arrives.
Oh no. Cool. I'm not talking. Well, that's fair. But what I'm talking about is the Midwest driving of you both approach a stop sign at the same time. There is a person who should go first based on the rules, but what will ensue is about 20 to 45 seconds of waving. There's a lot of like, you. No, you.
It's the person
from the
to
other
the right
side.
of you.
It doesn't matter, Rob. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's different rules based on where you live, based on the humanity of your state.
Exactly. She's talking about how Midwestern drivers are extremely passive compared to, say, New York drivers who are psychopaths who must be removed from human society for the good of us all.
Tim could just never live there.
We should celebrate when you officially are able to drive. If you end up. Well, it's just now it's just the certificate, right? So
he's gonna have to. He has to.
I have to learn how to drive a car.
He has to drive the car. This is just the test.
No, but But don't you get your license if you
I get
pass
a
the test?
permit.
You get the permit.
I get a permit.
And then how do you?
I am permitted to drive.
And then how do you get your
with
license?
a grown adult next to me?
Let's double click on that. For a moment.
Let's what?
Double
Carrie's
click.
using
What goddamn
corporate
speak was
language.
that?
Yeah, corporate language. that
Oh,
she's-
is it?
Yeah.
I mean, I was
very.
I
very
find out
gross.
Oh,
you
sorry.
just made me hemorrhage.
I regret it.
But
If you can delete that.
So what did we double click on?
Let's hit that again. So I did know that you were considering doing this a couple weeks ago. When you said that you were going to be doing this, you said, I will not feel comfortable with anybody in humanity except my parents and one other person driving in my practice.
I did
and
say that.
Like who was that person?
That person was a person I believe to be very patient and shall we say very motherly.
Uh-huh.
And you can fucking wipe that grin off your face.
It made me feel very nice when you said that.
I think it would feel comforting. I think you would not make me feel bad. And I think lots of people would.
She would distract the hell out of you, though.
Well, that's
I
a
would-
useful piece of data.
I would do it in a calm way though, and we could take breaks and we could pull over for
I'm
snacks.
all about breaks. I'm all about like, hey, we drove around one loop in this empty mall parking lot.
Snack
Let's call
time.
that a week.
Yeah, and I'm game
But
for
when
that
you
too.
get the actual license, I'd like to celebrate by possibly watching one of my favorite movies is License to Drive. Because I feel like it speaks to your journey.
I think so.
Yeah. Have you seen License
I've
to
never
Drive?
seen License
Oh my
to Drive.
gosh.
I think it has to be now.
Oh my gosh.
think
Corey
now that
Haim,
you said
the Coreys are in it. The Coreys.
I don't know if we'll watch that. I was thinking Speed to Cruise Control. No.
It needs to be that.
I think I like Rob's idea better.
Okay.
Or if that doesn't work, we can take Tim out to where we took Abby out to celebrate her and and Alice's test results. Speaking of test
You're
results,
right.
yeah,
Good. This has been a good week for that kind of stuff.
They did a good job on their district assessments. Although I think everybody's probably taken a little bit of a dip since COVID, so it's all relative, right? Like percentiles aren't absolute, like they're based on your relativity to another student.
Yeah.
But we'll take the good score. So, Carrie, you and Abby decided on a restaurant to go to.
Yeah, I was like, Abby, we got to pick something. Number one, I'm just going to brag. I think it's okay to brag. Abby jumped like 40% in a couple of her things, like just massive. And again, we're not very good parents. So like,
No.
it's on them. That's what I'm saying. It's on them, not on us.
So are we saying like MIT smart, or are we saying like the good state school smart?
I think we're good state school.
Good state school. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I would say Ivy League is like you need to be 99th percentiles for both.
You know how I feel about Ivy League schools anyway. So like good state school for me is more ideal for being a well-rounded human. So I'm fine with it. That's
No. As a representative of a good state school, I would like to vouch that they're terrible places.
They're okay.
They're
all right.
abattoirs. Your children will be turned into pulp.
Maybe we'll just send them to like
Nice liberal arts.
Liberal
I was going to
arts
say a nice
school.
little Catholic school, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe seminary.
Something like I don't know, like an Augustana.
I think Alice would be a very
Ooh.
good seminarian.
She would not. Today I came upstairs. She had some friends over. She's running around the room. I'm like, what are you guys doing? She's like, it's a spanking party. I was like, this is.
I don't understand why you think that would disqualify her from the seminary.
Fair.
Her vow of silence. I don't know if they take those, but
Yeah,
would,
she is
would
not.
They become a monk.
Yeah.
Okay. I've lost track of what the question was.
The place that you decided.
Oh, yeah.
You were in charge. You don't like, because I like to reward, and
Yes.
you like to say, "Whoa, no, slow down, Rob. Like I'm gonna figure this out with Abby." And then you came back and you presented us with some ideas.
Yeah. By the time we had left the school from her conference and got the results, Rob's like, I think we got to book a trip to New York and we should probably go to Harry Potter and we should do all these things to celebrate. And I said, let's pump the brakes. And I said, I know you do, but we're going to pump the brakes there. This is just her second assessment of the year in fifth grade. But I said, let's pick a restaurant we've never been to before and try something we've never eaten before.
I'm going to vouch for Carrie's energy is feeling much more commensurate to the achievement.
See, this is what I have to deal with though. Like it's the constant push pull of like excess versus normalcy, and I'm always somewhere in the middle. So I suggested a couple places, and I don't even know if they knew exactly what it was, but I was like, "What do you guys think about a little hot pot?"
Wait, so did you come up with this? Because
I think you are super cool parents if you are going to do some pot with your kids.
Yeah. Because I was under the impression that Abby learned about the hot pot from her.
They learn from on the street graffiti.
Yeah. Now that you're saying this story, thanks, Rob. Thanks, Rob, for recognizing that I was wrong. I think I
just don't know where you would have come up.
Why
with
would I have said hot pot?
I don't know why you would have just. But you know what's fun? Hot pots. Yeah, I don't see that just happening.
I think you're right, but I think I affirmed the hot pot.
When your 9-year-old daughter explained to you what hot pot was, it seemed like a good idea to you.
It did. Less exciting than your explanation, but I still was like, yeah, let's look up some hot pot places. After you're right, she suggested it, and there was one about 2 minutes from Tim's house, and so
I had my doubts.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, you're welcome. You didn't want to be there. Trust me.
I had my doubts because it just felt like it looked very authentic.
It was.
And it ended up being. And I don't know if authentic Chinese is what everybody's like when they think of Chinese. If you're
an American, what you think of when you think of Chinese food is not authentic. No, that's very true. Yeah. Although in general, good rule of thumb, if it has hot pot, it is probably more authentic than others.
As an example, they had tripe on the menu, which, I actually, when I was a kid, I enjoyed little helping.
You didn't know what it was. Your parents lied to you and they were like, oh, have some noodle soup. And then they're like, they're not eating guts, which you actually were.
Yeah, they called it flatschki, which was...
right, because you're from Eastern European stock. So
right.
they're poor and just have to eat all the parts of the cow.
And it was very good. I thought they were noodles. I thought they were noodles.
Shaved hoof over ice. All 9 yards.
That was your favorite shaved hoof. I forgot about that.
So we arrive in, for those who aren't familiar with what a hot pot is, Carrie, walk us through the experience.
Yeah, so you get there, and again, I'm nervous because Rob's the planner. Whenever I plan something, it's fair to say it's always a disaster. So I was already planning that we were going to get there and something was going to go wrong. So we get there and they lead us into this little tiny room. And when you get in the room, there's all these, every person's spot has like a cooker or
it has, as one might say, a hot pot.
A hot pot. It wasn't there yet. And so then they come in and Rob does the thing where he like excessively over orders. He's like, we have 3 children with us and ourselves. He's like, I'll take 2 pot stickers, 1 veggie, 1 meat. And then I'll take some spring rolls. And then I'll take the tofu plate. We'll all have pork, chicken, veggie platter. So we have like food for like 1,000 people.
And then you get to pick your, each individual gets to pick in like what the food is prepared in, like the liquid, the broth that is used in it, and some of it is spicier.
You picked some hot ones.
Yeah, we got some Szechuan.
There was a lot of heat in the room.
Vegetable broth option. There was mushroom broth.
Yeah, all this raw stuff starts coming out, and then you're supposed to dip it in, and you cook it for exactly 12 seconds, which the kids took very literally.
Another learning is this is probably not the best restaurant experience to take small children to, because they literally have something
boiling
that can boiling pot of liquid and a hot plate that they control. But somehow we managed.
Think of the opportunity for learning experiences, though.
Yeah,
is it a good one or a bad one?
I mean, I
can't tell. Tim, it was too kind to be serious. I don't know.
Your child has scalded their hand beyond future usability and will require tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars of plastic surgery merely to have something that looks like a hand, let alone something that functions like a hand. They'll know not to touch a stove.
Yeah, fair.
I felt safe only because, not safe from the burning of the hand, but safe health-wise, because we did the veggie options. And so there was like very little risk, but... Yeah.
We got some
our neighbor
pork,
kid,
she got a lot of pork.
girl, and Abby both ordered the very thinly sliced meats, and that were raw.
Well, sure, you're not going to kick a whole fucking chicken breast in 12 seconds in hot oil.
No, you're not. No. It's not. It's the raw piece, and they were in charge of managing that themselves. And then I started noticing, you dip your fork into the does the fork actually then get clean enough, from the heat, from the minimal heat? I wasn't sure.
The likelihood
I was expecting some
illness
sort of,
was high, probably.
Yeah. And it resulted in at least
one of us getting
a few of us having the poops.
Shit.
Yeah.
You don't have to say that. It could have been anything.
It could have been anything.
Just a little off.
Could have been puking, that kind of nasty puke that comes through your nostrils.
Yeah.
Could have been that.
That is the worst.
I would say the worst part of the entire thing was the excess of food. And so I'm surprised you didn't share this. As we were going to leave, there's so much food left over. So the woman comes in and she's like, do you need it?
It's not like you can...
Did you just get a plastic tub full of raw pork?
That's the thing. It's not like this type of a restaurant is, you can't do takeout. You can't do hot pot takeout. So go ahead.
Can you?
No, that's called cooking.
Right.
At your house.
So Carrie did ask to wrap everything up.
So to be fair,
Yeah, I just left. At that point, I was like, oh, I'm taking the kids. I can't be part of this.
I wrapped myself. So she came with lots of containers and I was like, oh, okay. So I took the hot pot and I transferred the hot pot into Tupperware. It was too hot. It was like melting. I don't think it was prepared for the heat of the hot pot. So it was starting to like shrivel and sort of like melt.
Yeah.
But you know what? I persevered and I just tucked it under my arms.
What, you took the cooking vessel?
No, I transferred the liquid from the cooking vessel.
It's like the cooking vessel stays.
All the cooking vessel I left. then I have like all these styrofoam containers of all the loose veggies and like all the loose the extras that were still in there. So I've got like 50 containers. Rob's gone. Now I'm alone in the room. So as I'm walking out, a storm starts brewing. It's raining outside. I'm walking down this alley with like 3 vessels of hot pot in one arm, and I'm
to do what with? Who knows? Like,
I'm going to use it.
In what way? In what fashion?
You cook it. You go to your house and you cook it. It's
I'm
basically
you're
basically taking the world's least efficient trip to the grocery store.
Yeah, but there was all those veggies that you were going to throw away. Felt terrible. It was like, so anyway, it was a fun disaster.
No,
that's what most of our life is.
No, it's good times. You know what else is good times? The Oscars are going to be a good time.
Are they good times?
Yeah.
Actually, I have very little.
I feel like this year's
who's
Oscars
hosting?
are going to be an unusually bad time.
Is it Regina Hall, Melissa McCarthy?
I have
Not
sort
Melissa
of
McCarthy. I've gotten
the Oscars
names
this year.
wrong
I'm being a little salty about them canceling those 8 categories, including my babe best editing. So I might boycott the Oscars this year.
What does a boycott of the Oscars mean to you?
It means being very loud about how I'm not happy that I'm watching them.
Okay.
No, I'm thinking of actually not watching them.
Oh,
I'll
actually,
not skip
okay.
them.
And not doing any content about them.
Oh, heavens no. I will be doing an Oscar prediction. I will be appearing.
Oh, okay.
Even if I do not have the benefit of having seen the Oscars, I will appear on our post-Oscars podcast to talk about,
your rage.
that ceremony. I'll bet it was a big piece of dick. What do you think?
Yeah. No, I like that.
The hosts are Amy Schumer. Apologies,
yes.
Regina Hall and Wanda
She's
Sykes.
making a comeback, I heard.
Well, she's got another TV show
some
coming
sort of
out,
program
like
on
it. Yeah.
Life of Beth.
She
Life
said
and
she's
Beth.
reemerging after some, having kids and stuff.
That feels like, so you said Amy Schumer, Regina Hall, and Wanda Sykes.
Mm-hmm.
That feels like a sandwich made out of the most immaculate, high-quality prime beef slapped between 2 pieces of moldy Wonder Bread. To me.
Wait, who's the bread?
Regina.
Okay.
Oh, no, Regina's the meat.
Okay.
Regina's the wonderful,
Okay.
high-quality.
I
Wait,
wasn't
so you
sure
wanna
with the
be the
place.
meat.
I wasn't sure the
No,
placement of
that's
things.
why I made them in order. Because Amy Schumer, garbage. Wanda Sykes used to be good, is now garbage. But my girl Regina, she's got it.
Regina's
So
solid.
why don't you just go carb free and just have just Regina?
Because the Oscars aren't letting me do that. The Oscars are being like,
I
here's your
see.
sandwich. I'm like, I could pick the meat off, but then
see.
is the mold already on the meat?
That's the unknown. You never know.
And because in honor of that, and in honor of Patreon Brian Fowler, who had us pick our top 5 best pictures, that's what the theme of this episode
sure
is. We
is.
thought it was a good time to roll.
timely.
Yeah, it's timely to roll this out. So we're doing that. Interestingly enough, there have been 93 Oscars, and thus
There have.
93 best
Yeah.
picture.
That's accurate.
93 best picture winners.
94 if you count unique and outstanding artistic production from the first year.
I did not do that. I'm
Most
curious.
people don't. I don't. I think
Okay.
that's
I don't
shady.
either,
I
no.
think you do that because you think that Sunrise is a better film than Wings, and it is a better film than Wings. But you don't get to cheat. It didn't win Best Picture, so we don't call it a Best Picture winner. I'm
Fair
sorry.
enough. So
I don't
we'll
understand
stick.
the last 20 seconds, but I didn't do that either.
So there's 93
Yes.
of those. Care. How many have you actually seen?
Here's the thing. I was worried. I don't like when you do this to me because I think it devalues my list. Because if I were to say 7,
It doesn't devalue your list. It devalues your opinion because
Give us an
you're not
over
informed.
under. Give us an over under.
I did an exact, and it's not as bad as I thought. That's the only reason
Okay.
I'm actually going to be honest and actually share. The
Actually,
actual
before you
number.
share, Tim, what would you say is a good number? Like, what's a good number?
93.
Okay, that's what I was thinking he might say.
You know what I think a good number is? 36.
That's actually incredible.
Is it?
I would not have expected it to be that close to your own age. I would have assumed that
Yeah.
you've only been watching them since like 2005.
That's really incredible because for me it's 44. So I thought there would be a bigger gap.
Wow.
Now I'm questioning whether or not you
I
counted
swear on what's something really important to me. I swear on cheese that 36.
Did I ever tell you about my cheese thing? We were playing a game of Would You Rather. It was like a pre-printed Would You Rather.
It's my favorite game.
Which pre-printed Would You Rather feels like it's taking some of the life out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But the Would You Rather was, would you never again experience an orgasm, or would you never again eat cheese?
Oh, that's like
And
not.
it
Why
was
would you even ask?
Very easy for me to say cheese, and people were like, "Why would you say cheese?" And it's like, why would you not?
Right. It's
How many
like,
orgasms will I have?
Here's the
Let me
Here's the
answer.
thing.
Let me answer this in a different way. Is Carrie's had a lot of cheese in the last 2 months, but that's all.
What?
I'm just joking.
Well, that's that. Wow.
I think
This just I didn't realize that we could one up it from where I live on this podcast. But Carrie, if you're needing to leave your husband, I will happily find a nice fella to set you up with.
I'm not saying what you're saying isn't true, but what I am saying is that is a terrible analogy, and I'm very tired.
But that was my point, was how many orgasms will I have, even if I am a fucking Lothario, if I'm having sex like twice a month? I mean, who has sex twice a month? Right?
Who amongst us? Not
How is
here.
that even possible?
No, not after
my
this
dick's
long.
not made of steel.
Right, exactly. Same.
Let's go crazy. Let's say once a week.
Sure.
I'm having sex once a week and
Yeah.
then masturbating another time of that week. That's 2 per week. I'm eating cheese more than twice a week.
All the time.
I eat cheese daily.
I'm going to even
I
counter
don't
that.
have sex daily.
Say, sure, for sure. Annually. No. I would say, here's the other thing to consider. Cheese could lead to the other. The other isn't going to lead to cheese.
I think the idea though is that you're cutting off the part of your body that can have orgasms by committing to cheese.
Okay.
So even if you have like a really fucking good, like a blue cheese,
a blue
like
cheese
this
with like a
buttermilk
little,
blue cheese that I used to be able to get at from Imagination here in
Like
Madison.
on a thin
I
cracker.
mean, even just thinking of it, I'm feeling a little dribble down there.
Let's cut that part out. That's weird. Too much.
Just saying.
But yeah, so you're saying I
I'm
couldn't.
saying I would
okay.
no longer have that response to that
Still
wonderful,
cheese,
wonderful
though.
piece of blue cheese.
Still cheese, though. Still cheese.
I don't even know what we're talking about.
We were talking about,
We're talking about how I like to stick my dick in cheese, right?
Okay.
movies, and how did cheese come up?
I don't know how you all got
How
there.
did it come up?
How did
Tim, but
it?
I assume, I'll just go out on a limb, you've seen all 93 Best
I've seen all
Pictures.
93 Best Picture winners.
Okay.
The real question, and here's one for both of you. How many of the 581 Best Picture nominees have you seen?
Oh boy, at least 500.
I would say it's a smaller, so I'm at almost 50% of Best Picture movies. I would say I'm below 50% then on the
Sure.
nominees then, because I think I'm more likely, there was a period too where I thought that meant the Best Picture meant it was the best movie. So
Sure.
I also went through a series, and that actually leads me to my next question, Carrie, for you, is I think it's,
Why isn't anyone going to ask me how many nominees I've seen?
how many nominees have you seen?
580.
Oh my gosh, have you really?
The Patriot from 1929 is lost, unfortunately. So don't judge me just because I haven't seen all of them. No one has seen all of them. One of them doesn't exist.
I bet someone's seen it.
Maybe someone who's like 90.
Yeah, so they're better than you. Is
And
what
those
we're
people
saying.
probably aren't keeping up with the new ones. Like
That's fair.
100-year-old didn't watch Promising Young Woman.
So you're thinking in this world that you've seen the most overall nominees of the people that exist. I would bet you're in a very
I think
small
I'm tied.
percentage.
I think
Yeah.
other people have seen all 580.
But I bet you're in a
nominees.
very small segment of the population.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
I'm sure there's a letterbox.
I mean,
list
just
out
to
there.
extrapolate from this room, I suppose that I'm in the bottom 33% or top 33% of people.
Fair enough.
I don't know what we're extrapolating.
I'm saying that 1/3 of people in this room have seen all Best Picture
Yes,
nominees.
yes,
which
yes.
tells me that 1/3 of all people have.
Okay.
And so, Kara, it leads me to my question
Okay.
of, it should be pretty straightforward though. Like, what is a top 5 Best Picture?
Oh,
But
sure.
I got to thinking about it, and I actually think it's a little bit more nuanced than that. So,
How
how
so?
did you decide? What is it your top 5 favorite, or the top 5 movies that you feel are Oscar like that should be Oscar movies?
No.
If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I did make 2 lists a little bit, and then I kind of veered away from it. One of the ones I thought of the movies I've seen, which ones should I pick? Because they probably, like, you guys would agree more. But then, of course, I threw that right out the window, and I went with what are the 5 favorites?
Your 5 favorite. You know what's
Yeah.
kind of interesting is looking. This is the first time I've sat down to look at the 93 movies that are on here. Not all great. Not great movies.
Many very bad movies.
Yeah, these are not my favorite movies.
More mediocre films than anything. Probably more great movies than actively bad movies, but more actively bad movies than you would want there to be.
Yeah, it wasn't that hard to narrow down to out of the 44 that I've seen to a good list of like 6 or so that I was
see,
like,
I did.
this is pretty much the best of this bunch.
No, I had a hard time because what I did was I was like, okay, of the 36, I can flag I liked 18 of them. So half. I liked 18 of them.
That feels like a good number.
18 contenders. But then I narrowed more on like...
Well, because we're a top 5 list. So
exactly. So I had to narrow. But I got to like 8 or 9 where I was like, I'm just choosing between my children at this point. Like, I don't know. They're the same. And I can't even say that they're like the most amazing movies of all time, but just really hard to distinguish with why one was better than the other. Like they were like the same in my category. So,
I got down to 11 was my first cut. And then from 11, I went to 5. So I don't know about you, Tim. Was this?
I keep an ongoing list of all 580 nominees ranked. So first I switched over to the second tab of that spreadsheet, which is merely the 93 winners ranked. And then I took the 5 that were at the top of it. And then I had a moment of moral panic, whether I would get canceled for one of the choices. And then I was like, whatever. If I get canceled, I get canceled.
Same.
So flagging.
And I actually
might be canceling me after this episode.
I love that this is a contained list, meaning that like you know what the guardrails are. And it's versus some of our prior top 5s, which is like could be all over the place.
Very excited to see how Carrie manages to put at least 2 films that were not even Oscar nominees on her list.
Well,
I don't know which ones, but we'll get there.
Yeah. Well, let's start now. Let's start with your number 5.
Oh, jeebers. So my number 5, if I was looking for, I will give you my 5. If I was seeking your approval in life, which I'm not, I would have gone with Casablanca, The French Connection, No Country for Old Men, The Godfather, and Annie Hall. Would that make you feel like I had arrived?
It would make me feel like you were a liar.
Okay, good. Because I will never do that to you.
There's at least one of those, one on the list that I feel like should be one of that you enjoy. At least
That's
one.
what I'm saying. These make the cut of ones that are okay.
Oh, okay. This is the ones that didn't make the cut? Okay.
They didn't make the cut. But you know what did? Driving Miss Wolves. I couldn't choose. I got to 6.
What?
I couldn't choose.
I don't know what
or
you
Dances
blended.
with Daisy. I don't know.
Dances with Daisy would have been better.
Okay.
I will choose Dances with Wolves for you because I like that movie and I don't like Driving Miss Daisy.
I know, but I love Driving Miss Daisy.
That is not my problem.
I know. I just don't even know. I love them both. The moment in Dancing with Wolves when he's like, no, go. And he tells the wolf to like run away because it's what the wolf needs, and the wolf just won't go, and the wolf just keeps coming back because he loves him. He loves Ethan Hawke so much. Is like,
what are you talking about?
Dances with
Ethan
Wolves.
Hawke's great in Dances
Oh
with
my
Wolves.
gosh, I'm thinking of
Favorite Ethan
White
Hawke
Fang.
performance.
I'm thinking of White Fang right now.
Yeah.
You know what?
Have you seen Dances with Wolves?
I have seen Dances with Wolves. I
sure?
also, yeah, no, I'm sure.
I know you've seen Avatar.
This day just got better. Driving Miss Daisy.
Nice.
I do like this movie, but if White Fang was on here, it was going to be really hard.
No idea.
I am now curious. Have you seen Dances
No,
with
I have.
Wolves?
Kevin Costner.
Okay.
Okay.
And there's some wolves.
I have not seen Dances with Wolves. Yeah.
It's a good picture.
It's
a
so
good.
It's very good.
I'm going to get the cancel train going early. I don't think it's nearly as racist as people say it is. I think it's fine.
Driving Miss Daisy?
No, Driving Miss Daisy is super racist.
Yeah, definitely racist. Yeah.
It's not I'm not going to do, you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to defend it not being racist because it might be. So I'm not going to try to defend
That's fine.
But without
I'll
having
bet it's
seen
not
it.
the only racist film in your top 5.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's okay. I got one in mind too.
Oh gosh, but I did just love that relationship. I love old ladies. I love I love
driving.
So I just saw a Nicolas Cage movie, so I'm going to ask this question. Driving Miss Daisy always made me think of Guarding Tess.
Okay.
Between those two movies, do you have a?
I've never seen Guarding Tess.
Oh, okay. Secret Service agent.
No, but I bet I'd love it.
Is that McClane? Is Tess
Shirley MacLaine. Yeah,
Okay.
that's right. Yeah.
And the guard is
Nick Cage. That's why I was saying Nicolas Cage.
Of course, that makes sense.
He's a reluctant security guard for a former first lady, or the Secret Service agent.
I love protection. Like I love like being like, oh, they're friends. I love the bodyguard. I love like I'm going to keep you safe type movies. So that doesn't apply to Driving Miss Daisy at all.
Well, he keeps her safe from being run over
Yeah.
because she's
Exactly.
driving places and not walking
But
to
the
them.
but the
love
sex
their
scene
friendship.
between the two of them was fantastic.
Oh, man.
I don't
Oh,
remember
man.
that.
Jessica Tandy and Morgan
Amazing that a
Freeman.
woman of Jessica Tandy's age could do that with her legs.
I don't remember this at all.
You must have seen TV at it.
I probably did.
Yeah,
I bet
yeah.
my parents wouldn't have let me watch that. That's why.
It's like, I mean, how many fists can go in
Right.
one human
This
body?
is not now. This
more
is
than you
not.
thought?
This
And then
is
in the
no,
car? Oh, my
no.
God.
All right,
While
now
he's driving.
Oh, he's driving.
Now you're
He
picking
doesn't
on
even,
me.
like
oh my
mess up
gosh!
traffic.
Leave this classic alone. Now you guys, I can tell you're joking now. Ugh. So my number 5 is Driving Miss Daisy.
Yes, Miss Daisy.
Oh. This is James hyperventilating, and I am appalled. And you're gonna have to edit all of this sound out. This is.
I can feel my face turning around.
This
You are on one, Rob. I like it. We need to keep you in this one more often. Holy shit.
Horrifying. This is not your MO, and it's
Good
making me
golly
a
Moses.
little hot myself over here.
I
Gosh.
feel dizzy. I feel like hyperoxygenated right now.
What is in your drink over there? My gosh.
This kombucha must be strong
It's
shit.
a clear mind. I think that's what's happening. It's the
This
clear
is
mind
when you
version.
clear your mind. This is what's
is where
there.
it goes.
That's
I
not, this
I
is
like
not
it. Where
it
good.
goes.
It's not good.
More of it. I'll buy your case every week.
All right, give me your worst, Tim.
Well, as I said, I have a racist one on my list, and that racist film is the masterpiece that is Lawrence of Arabia, where we see some white people pretending to be not white people through the use of bronzer, and it's still very good. So there it is. It's Lawrence of Arabia, 1962 film, the second Best Picture winner, directed by David Lean and produced by Sam Spiegel after 1957's Bridge on the River Kwai, which almost made it. Like they're adjacent to each other on my list. And I decided to nudge this one ahead just because if push comes to shove, I would rather watch this 4-hour epic about T.E. Lawrence, played by Peter O'Toole in his feature film debut, one of the best performances, period, let alone one of the best debut performances, as the Englishman who goes to Arabia to just be a sort of attaché to one of the military offices there and ends up sort of accidentally leading a rebellion that leads to potentially a free Arab state, but then as will happen, politics get in the way, and that's kind of the arc of the film. The first 2 hours before the intermission are this like big boisterous adventure movie, and the second 2 hours are this kind of like miserable grind through politics and how it crushes everything in its way. So kind of a boring on purpose movie, which at 4 hours is a lot, but hey, it's very effective at it. And Peter O'Toole is just so good in this movie. Just a really remarkably sensitive performance where he communicates so much just by like how he's looking at things. Like a lot of what's going on in the screenplay is sort of left unspoken, and it's also gorgeous because they took the cameras out and they shot 70 millimeter film in the desert, and it's like this huge massive desert epic that I have seen on 70 millimeter, and it is gorgeous.
I got to say, this is in my list of embarrassments of not having seen this. Would you say it's more embarrassing to not have seen this or Gone with the Wind? If you're a film lover.
Gone with the Wind.
I'd probably say Gone with the Wind, even though I believe this to be the better film, but Gone with the Wind is like Hollywood.
Yeah.
My question on its racism. So
I will also say Lawrence of Arabia is merely racist in that it has a brown face. Gone with the Wind is racist in that it is racist.
It's racist. It's racist. So, and I think, is one worse than the other or same? Is it on?
I think if you're sensitive to that kind of thing, you'd have a much harder time getting through Gone with the Wind.
Okay. And I ask specifically about Lawrence of Arabia, like they're in the desert. Do you have any idea which desert they are in?
The Arabian desert.
So that's my question. Why did you not find Arabian people to be in your movie instead of painting people at that time? Like what was different in cinema at that time that would have been your choice versus finding actors that were local?
That they didn't do that back then.
I mean, was it an option? Did anybody do that? Or was this the solve for everybody?
I don't know prior to this. I don't actually know the movie was shot in Arabia. It might have been shot someplace else. No, you would have gotten your cast ready to go in London and then you would have schlepped them out to wherever they were going to film.
Maybe just lack of connection. Maybe on the internet today, if they could have been.
It's really only
tapping other
Alec
people.
Guinness, who I think is actually in brownface, and Alec Guinness was going to be in this film anyway because he was like David Lean's good luck charm. So
Yeah, I can't picture Alec. So Alec Guinness was in brownface?
Sure is.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He's really, really good.
That's Obi-Wan Kenobi care.
Oh, sure. And I'm not even going to pretend that I always confuse him with CP320, and I won't do that
He's
again.
the one who's not a robot.
The man.
He's the old man.
I
in
can
brown
picture him
robes.
right now.
Yes, Luke's mentor.
Yes, I'm picturing him.
One of the greatest actors who ever lived.
And he's still alive or no?
No, he's not.
No. Okay, that's
So I'm starting my list off well. This might actually end up taking something from yours because this is like a classic Hollywood, much like Tim's Lawrence of Arabia. Older. This goes older, which I think will be shocking to those who typically follow me, and we're expecting a list of movies from the 80s onward. I'm going with a movie that Carrie and I caught on Valentine's Day that just really stuck with me.
Give me some more.
That should be all you need to know.
Oh.
Prior to 1980,
like 80
Mrs. Miniver,
Valentines
a movie
together.
that we saw in the music box.
The Life of Emile Zola.
Oh.
No, it's Casablanca. I really love.
I don't think you love this movie.
1942's Casablanca. I think it's
I
great.
thought you guys watched that with me.
I may have watched.
We watched it with you too.
Okay. Yeah,
Maybe we watched it with you on Valentine's Day.
It was
Maybe.
at Music
No?
Box when you and I saw it.
Okay.
Yeah, I really love this movie. And I think it encapsulates kind of what I was trying to say earlier too about the two types of top 5 lists that you could have. You could have your favorite, but you could all have ones that represent what
Like
you think of like empirically,
yeah.
like this one is what I think of a best picture, like a Lawrence of Arabia, like a Gone with the Wind. Of the movies that I've seen, many of the ones that ended up winning best picture, I don't think are like in my mind, like it's hard.
Like,
to
should
think
you
of,
have won?
Like it's not what
Yeah.
I think of would be should be the qualifications
Sure.
for it. So like this one certainly meets that bar. I really enjoyed Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman, and then Claude Rains was like my favorite character in that particular film. And the director, I believe, also did the Adventures of Robin Hood and White Christmas Carol, which you and I saw.
We did. We made our way through that by making fun of it at a movie night. It was good.
And Rob, you might say you love Casablanca, but you know what loving Casablanca would consist of?
Putting it number one on your list?
Putting your number one.
Is it your number one?
Yeah, it's my favorite movie.
Yeah, of course it
we have a
is.
poster.
This is obviously my number one.
Oh my gosh.
This is movie theft. I
Like,
knew this
that's
was
why
gonna
I'm
be
not
on
even
his.
upset that you got it, because
Well,
clearly everyone
so
knows my number one is Casablanca. That
it's your
one's
favorite
good.
movie, but is it also the best, like a good representation?
I believe it is. Remember, so for our movies to see before you die, that we came up with 3 entirely different universes.
Loved it.
My number one film for that list was Singing in the Rain, because I thought it best embodied everything that the Hollywood studio system doing what it does. Like the perfect version of that is Singing in the Rain. If you were to unflip the switch that said it had to be a musical, the film that would do that would be Casablanca.
100%.
I think it is the Hollywood studio movie.
Let me put it a different way. If Singing in the Rain had won Best Picture, would that be on your list? Because it would be on my list.
It would be my number 2.
Okay.
Behind Casablanca.
Interesting. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I really love Singing in the
Is
Rain.
this the
Great picture.
one where it's like, here's looking at you, kid?
That's the one.
Yeah,
Yes, it
I
is.
remember that part. That part. It stands out for me.
It's just this to me is old Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like this movie.
It
Yeah.
is. So many wonderful things about this movie. You touched on some of them, Rob. Also, the old chestnut. Everyone knows this who knows about the film's production. They didn't have an ending written, so they were just kind of winging it when they got to the ending, and it still ended up having the best ending of all time, which to me is part of what makes it such a good Hollywood movie, because like the system was just working. Like it was funneling all of these actors and technicians towards like this perfect point, even though they didn't know what story they were telling, very literally. Great performances, great.
You wanna watch
everything.
it.
It's so good.
I feel like some of these older movies I will liken to, when you meet somebody and they're like, oh, my name is Steve. And you're like, oh, so nice to meet you. And then 4 seconds later, you're like, what was that guy's name again?
Yes.
I feel that way about Casablanca, where I think I've seen it once or twice, maybe, but like it's not sticking with me. I think if I were to watch it again right now with like the perspective that I have over years of watching movies with you guys, I think I would absorb it in a different way than I did 10 plus years ago.
Here's the thing
Maybe.
I will say is
So
one
sort
of
of like encountering Steve at a cocktail party many years after you first met him.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's like, yeah, I remember
I think
you.
one of the challenges with this movie, and I don't know if they like, I feel bad that current generations, myself included, I don't think this film sets up the context of what's happening as well as it may. Like they didn't think to, like, no one's going to forget, World War II.
I would like to imagine that World War II, even 80 years later, does not need so much
I know.
context.
I just think the Morocco,
was
I genuinely
World
think
War
is like,
II.
wait, why are they in Morocco? Like what's happening in Morocco?
It has that opening narrative where it's like there was a route of escape from Europe through Marseille across the Mediterranean.
I worry there, like some of it could be lost. Like it's
the Nazis,
yeah,
they're bad.
Oh, the
we
Nazis
don't
are
like
bad.
them. They were the aggressors. They killed many people.
Did they explain that though in the
They
movie?
don't. So that is a failure.
That's
of
what
the
I'm
movie.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the first Nazi comes out, they don't have another character come out and be like, "Wow, are you one of those people who's killing all those Jews in Europe?" And the Nazi's like, "Well, yes, I am."
Yeah.
So we don't know. that
Lack
they're
of
bad.
clarity
We
is
don't
what
know
it
that
suffers
they're
from.
bad guys.
Okay.
All right, I feel hurt.
Tim has to defend his number one.
It's okay. I'm so glad you had it on.
Claude Rains MVP though for you.
Oh God, don't talk
make
about
you
choosing
pick.
between your children.
Okay. I just
Jesus.
I really love his performance.
It's so good. So much of this movie is so good.
Okay.
It's the perfect movie.
So Care for You for your number 4 then.
Okay, my number 4. I think maybe we also saw on Valentine's Day together, Rob. I think maybe unknown, because I do know that we stopped for some chocolates afterwards at this nice little chocolatery type place.
It's not around anymore.
Oh, it's not?
No, it didn't make it.
How do you even know what I'm talking about?
In South Barrington.
Yeah, that is what I'm talking about. Gosh, your memory is so much better than mine. I was thinking I was really doing a deep cut right there with that memory. But before this, did we see this with my mom?
We wouldn't have taken your mom on Valentine's Day.
I think we would have, maybe.
You might have taken me on Valentine's Day.
So it was either Valentine's Day or we were with my mom. Either case,
I feel like
we
you're
got
mixing two
chocolates
movies.
afterwards.
So we did see True Grit with your mom and dad, the modern one.
This isn't the one.
Okay, yeah, that's not the Best Picture winner.
No,
so I was
but
worried.
this one is one that I loved. We did see it at some point and get small chocolates afterwards, which were delicious, that might be closed. And I love a story of persevering. I love a story of I have a challenge, I have an obstacle, and how do I persevere and get over it? And how am I beloved on the other end of that perseverance? And no more persevering than King George VI
Oh, sure.
Oh.
in his ascension to the throne in 1936.
When you said chocolates, I thought for sure you were going for Forrest Gump.
We talked about this, guys. Remember, I said something offensive in another episode about that.
Yeah, I like this movie. This one is not an Oscar winner to me.
Oh, it is
like
for
when
sure.
I think of like what, it's just too small
I
of
like
a
this.
film.
If you go back to the review on our website, which is conveniently linked on the page that this podcast is on the website, you will notice that I spend the first paragraph outright chortling tee-hee, who could anyone have thought this was the Best Picture winner or Best Picture front runner now that we've seen it? Clearly, it's too minor and quiet to win Best Picture. Oops. One of these days I'm going to replace that review.
Oh, you mean you wrote it before
I
you
wrote
found
it before
out?
it came out. It was the heavily mooted front runner, and then I saw it and I was like, this isn't going to win Best Picture.
yeah, it doesn't.
I loved it.
It doesn't have
It's darling.
I think it's cute.
I saw this movie somehow. I saw this movie 3 times in theaters.
Yeah, I don't even think I've said the name of it.
To me, it's oh yes.
This is called The King's Speech from
I put it-
2010.
I put it on the same like level of like, that's Best Picture, like Shakespeare in Love for me. It's
This
like,
is better though
See,
than
to
like
me,
a
Shakespeare in
coda.
Love is a slam dunk Best Picture winner.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
like Shakespeare in Love. I have it on VHS if you want to borrow it.
I have it on Blu-ray, so I don't need to. Thank you.
But I have a vintage quality of the VHS a little bit. But I thought the story is here for me. I thought that the actual like, I don't know, the process they went through. I thought Colin Firth in this is just outstanding and so believable. I love the whole like road to success. The whole thing works for me. And just a
Charming
big-
movie, super watchable, perfect movie to watch with a mom.
Yes.
One of the most ideal of all night. If we were ranking best Picture winners to watch with your mom, this
For
would
sure.
potentially be my number
top
one. and
5
certainly
movies
my
to
top
watch with
5.
your parents.
Oh my gosh.
That's a
yeah.
great list.
Yeah.
That'll be a
Good
fun
list.
list.
Rob always picks ones that are high nudity and it's always awkward. But we did watch this with my mom. She loved it, loved it, loved it. She rides a high on movies like this. If there's anybody that loves an underdog, it's my mom. Like
Just don't
she's
call
like,
him Birdie.
Just don't call him Birdie. Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
Only his friends call him Birdie.
Only his friends too. I bet he's not going to let us call him Birdie, is he? No. But I love this one. And that's why it's my number 4.
Okay.
All right.
Tim, to you.
So this is going to be potentially one of my controversial picks because this film is kind of best known, I think, amongst younger folk, including everyone in this room, because by younger I mean under 70. But I think it's kind of has the reputation of being a film that notoriously and undeservedly won Best Picture from something else. And I will agree, it is not the best picture of its nomination class, which if we were going to go down that route, we'd be talking about a whole different list. But I do think it is in and of itself a great movie, in and of itself, clearly, I think one of the best films the Oscars ever gave the award to, one of the best films ever directed by my favorite American film director, John Ford, and the film in question is 1941's How Green Was My Valley.
Oh.
Which Carrie, I think you would really like this movie.
How Green Was My Valley?
Pretty green.
Okay. Tell me about the valley and why it is so green.
So it is told in not in flashback per se, like it starts at the whole thing is sort of framed by a narrator who's visiting the valley where he grew up in Wales. He was a child, now he's an adult. He's coming, as he says at the very start of the movie, he's coming to his old family house for the last time to get his belongings out. And it's just reminding him of incidents from his childhood and sort of when, as a little 10-year-old boy, he was at this point played by Roddy McDowell, when he like not became a man, but like when he sort of realized what the world around him consisted of. And when he was a very small child, he just kind of like enjoyed family in the valley and whatnot. And by the time the movie ends, he's kind of become aware of the world of adults. And so there's not really a plot. Like there's an arc, and the arc is the coal, because it's Welsh coal country, and the sort of travails of the coal miners as they are increasingly pinched economically. But marriages happen and people move away and people come in, and there's a new pastor played by Walter Pidgeon, and it's just kind of like the ebb and flow of life over several months, maybe a full year, and how the little boy just comes to admire his father's sort of quiet dignity as like a pillar of this community who doesn't really show as being a pillar of this community. And the father's played by Donald
Sutherland?
Donald something. I don't know. Donald Crisp, I believe, who is an Oscar winner for this film, if I'm not mistaken. Just very, very kind, lovely family movie. Really perfectly encapsulates this kind of family dynamic as we see Hugh as a little boy and his several brothers and his sister, played by Maureen O'Hara, who is a great John Ford. She was a member of his stock company. And it's just you're watching a family just kind of bend with the wind, and it's very, very lovely.
Is it kind of like
and gorgeous,
a hidden life without the tragedy?
It is so much gentler than even the gentlest possible version of A Hidden Life.
Oh, you've seen this, Rob?
No, I just think when I think of John Ford, I don't think it's gonna go down easy.
Okay.
It's gonna go down smooth.
First off, he's a popular filmmaker. Like, he is making movies for the biggest possible audience in 1941.
Mm-hmm.
And it's artful in that it is very beautifully done, and like there's a lot of great, beautiful shots in it. But it's not like art.
Okay.
It's very...
How green is my valley?
Yeah. I do think you would like it a lot.
I feel like it's come up on a few lists. I think you've mentioned it at least once.
I like to go to bat for this movie because, again, I think people's thing is that it beat Citizen Kane for the Oscar, and how dare it. And it's not as good as Citizen Kane, but it's still a great, great film.
I don't remember who's in my class, my number 4's class, but I think I think it's one of those where now I'm going to go the other direction and pick a movie that I think I enjoyed more. I don't know if it's what you would think of an Oscar movie. It has a talented cast, which is kind of like a prerequisite to me. You have 4 Oscar-nominated actors, but beyond that, the additional cast that surrounds them is fantastic as well. It's a 2015 film, which Tim now knows what it is because he has it memorized. I'm sure.
I don't. So keep giving me clues.
We saw this movie together too, Carrie, and it's a unraveling of the Catholic Church. Thanks to some good reporting.
Good Samaritans, yeah.
It's good. Well, Boston Globe journalists.
I mean, they were getting
journalism.
paid to be good Samaritans, but they did good work.
Yeah.
See, now you're freaking me out because I don't know if you're pronouncing that word incorrectly.
Yeah, I'm hearing Samaritans is what you're saying, and that is not how I pronounce it.
But I don't know if I'm right.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't have confidence.
I'm trying to kind of keep that illusion. You don't really know.
You're just going to mispronounce words?
I'm just not going to be able to think about the movie now, though. But anyway, so tell us about Spotlight.
Well, I just loved the kind of constant tension that was present.
The cast is awesome.
The cast is great. I've always had it in for the Catholic Church, want to see them go down. So,
despite your mom who's like,
despite his mom, he doesn't like the Catholic Church. Is that the play you're taking?
Oh, not to spite, despite. I was going to say
No. I'm saying, could it not be because of his mother?
That's fair too. She's convinced that Rob is like a solid Catholic, that he like went to church every day until he was 18 while under her control. And
I'm just not a fan of organized religions to a large degree because of, this case in point. There's some problems.
Yeah.
So yeah, what I'm curious of is like, I wonder why it took so long to have this film be made. Because I feel what I do enjoy about motion pictures for a broad audience, it sheds light on things.
Sure.
And again, like this is something that was very well, like documented and understood by 2015. But yet this movie about I don't know if it was like late 90s. Is that when this?
I think it's late 90s.
Yeah.
I don't quite recall.
For some reason, it felt revelatory.
Yeah.
Again. And kudos to Tom McCarthy. We've always known Tom McCarthy, who did Care Stillwater that you watched recently. That didn't get much acclaim.
No, but I liked it on the plane.
Yeah, it's a good plane movie.
Yeah, I agree with this. And my frustration with this movie was not the movie, but my frustration was with the system. Like, here's my question. I don't know if anyone's thought about this. Why do we have a statute of limitations? Like, oh, sorry, you can't go after me anymore because it's been 20 years, and then you can't go after people.
It's to reward cunning. I think if anyone's that clever to stay ahead of the police, you got to respect that.
There are certain things that don't. Was that a plot point?
Yeah, because there were some that was like, oh, I don't want to talk about it, or I didn't want to like bring up what happened because I couldn't do anything about it anyway. This person's basically like safe. From
I don't remember. I don't think there is there a statute of limitations for raping children.
I think there's a statute of limitations for everything other than murder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's disappointing.
It is. Yes, Rob. It is disappointing. So I was like frustrated.
I agree.
More by the
Again,
movie.
murder best of all. If you can get away with murder for 20 years, you should get a fucking medal, not prison time.
Yeah. I mean, I've thought about it before. I think I could get away with murder really easily. I mean, we drove through southern, like the U.S., and it's like just lots of forests everywhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I could get away with it. No one would
Holy
suspect
crap.
me.
Nobody Google statute of limitations.
I don't want to know.
Very
Rob,
upsetting.
I was just talking to you about how I'm removing all negativity from my life. And when you give me these tidbits of information, it's not helping. So don't tell me the number. I don't want to know any facts about it.
It's state by state.
I don't want to know any facts. And I know which states are worse.
Yeah, I'll give you a hint on which states.
Tell me Wisconsin. No, don't tell me.
No, I'm just I think we all know the states. Oh my gosh.
I know. I don't want to think about humanity ever again.
So there are states with no limits. I'll just say that.
Okay. California?
No.
Vermont?
Anyway,
okay.
we don't, yeah. Anyway, my number 4.
Number 4.
Yeah, it's one of those where I don't think of it as a
movie.
Hollywood, like big Hollywood
this
movie.
This feels like a popcorn movie, sort of.
This is a popcorn movie?
I mean,
I don't know if it's a popcorn movie.
It's likable by everybody.
I mean,
What are you saying? It's likable by everybody?
Maybe I define popcorn movie different.
Real good feel good roller coaster ride. Spotlight.
Not popcorn movie in that it's like, ooh, the topic makes me feel good. I meant popcorn movie in that it's mainstream. Everybody would like this movie.
I don't believe that is what the phrase popcorn movie ordinarily connotes, but whatever. You're sitting there, you're hearing a grown man weep about his sexual abuse, and you're just like, more of this. You're just munching
cheddar butter,
that like flavored salt that you can get.
Yeah,
like
always
ranch
cheese.
peppercorn.
Depends on the degree
of
the assault.
Stop reading
about
first degree.
No limit.
Oh my God.
No limit.
He's affecting my mental health every day with this information.
I get it.
It's
no wonder you're withholding sex. Jesus.
I know, it's been a couple.
Most of them are no limits, guys.
Okay.
So we're I feel better. It was the different degrees.
Take a few breaths.
Stop.
Okay, sorry.
Stop.
Okay.
What are you doing?
All right, number 3.
We can see the reflection in your glasses. We know you're still looking at
Number 3 to you.
Number 3 to me.
We're gonna line up.
You think so?
Wait, no. I think you mentioned on another podcast you didn't like this movie.
I love this movie. So we're getting into the category of just like, these are just some of my favorite movies, and I love them. And I was so happy to see. I didn't know that they were Best Picture winners until I was actually prepping for this episode. So it was fun to find some of my favorites on there. This is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. Is yours also horror thriller?
That's not what I was thinking you were going to say, but yeah, I do have a horror
thriller
movie on my list.
Okay,
which is rare in its own right. Like typically that is not something.
Do you like to?
So I think everybody knows what you're talking about.
Do you like to have yours with a nice Chianti?
Oh, this is not what I was thinking of.
What were you thinking of?
I don't know.
I don't know because she's.
There are two.
I thought I was thinking of yours.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking of Carrie's.
We'll see where Rob goes. Silence of the Lambs at number 3. This movie.
Gosh, I didn't know you liked this movie.
I love this
great
movie. I love Anthony Hopkins. I love Jodie Foster. I think her performance in that is so outstanding. I watched a whole documentary on Anthony Hopkins that wasn't very good, but it goes into a lot of the behind the scenes of the movie. And like Jodie Foster comes on and talking about how like she was actually so scared. Like while she was participating or filming the movie, she was like, I was afraid of him, and I was afraid of like what he was going to do. Like he was so in character.
Didn't he date Martha Stewart, and then she also could not get past that he reminds? Yeah, I mean, she couldn't get past the movie.
That's another thing for you to.
That doesn't
Google.
feel like something you would have come up with randomly. So I'm going to believe that you're correct.
I'm going to believe. We'll fact check it later.
That is
but
wild.
Yeah,
that seems like a mismatch a bit. Actually, he in real life is probably not somebody that you would want to be friends with. I think he's a little neurotic and
Are we talking about Anthony Hopkins or Hannibal Lecter?
Anthony Hopkins in real life. Yeah.
Well, he's an actor. I don't want to be friends with any actors. They're terribly mercurial people.
So yeah, there's just something. He has a vibe that is kind of off-putting even in real life, I think. But his character in this is just skin crawling, bone chilling, whatever you can.
It's in the eyes.
It's in the eyes.
It's in the eyes.
He's in it. He's in the movie, and his performance in this is just something I will never, ever forget. And I just remember thinking, as I watched this probably too young. I don't know how young I was, but it scarred me.
Brian Cox is still a little upset about not getting the call for Hannibal Lecter, I think. Well, he was the original Hannibal Lecter.
I don't think I know who that is.
Brian Cox's dad from Succession.
Yeah. Old gosh. Succession. He would not. So I love him. He would not have been the chill that Anthony Hopkins is.
My cinephile heresy, I think Silence of the Lambs is clearly a better film than Manhunter.
Yeah. So Brian Cox was Hannibal Lecter in a movie that preceded.
Manhunter.
Was it good though?
Excuse me.
It's good. People love it more than I understand.
Okay.
How's his Hannibal though?
Good. Quite good.
Not
best part about the movie.
Not Anthony Hopkins Hannibal though. Yeah.
No.
So yeah, number 3, Silence of the Lambs.
Interesting.
Failed to mention a couple important things. First is that his Hannibal Lecter is a hybrid of Katharine Hepburn and Truman Capote, which I think once you know that, you can sort of hear it in the voice. 2, I just want to throw a bone to Jodie Foster, who I think is superb in this movie.
Amazing.
And so much insanely subtle work with her performance and the camera around her to like sort of situate Clarice, her character, in this sort of hostile world of FBI men. And like, there's just so many different ways that the film kind of like teases that out without making it the theme. Really, really, really great cinema.
Yeah, just like, it's a quiet, like you can't, Anthony's going over the top.
Yeah.
So your only choice is
you're when they go up, you go down. By going big. You're
you go down
with him by going still.
The scene, and I'm not going to do the sound into my microphone because it will be a huge misophonia trigger.
I can't do the sound. I've tried. I don't know how to do it.
Oh, that's impressive.
That's
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I guess I did do it. Was all off script. Like that. Jodie didn't know that was coming. He didn't even know he was going to do it. It was just he was swept up in the moment. And they always sort of attribute that to one of the most, like, again, chilling parts of the movie and that people remember. And it was all impromptu.
Yeah.
So I just, and yeah, her reaction to it was so like authentic. Yeah. It's the authenticity of it. So I just love this movie and I'm going to watch it before bedtime tonight.
You've made lots of promises like this before and then we never see the movies.
And I sleep a lot. I know. But that's my number 3.
So Carrie, you started by saying if you were a poser who just wanted to impress people with your tastes, you would have the following 5 films. And as we all know, one of those was on my list and your husband's list because it was Casablanca.
But you guys are young posers, so yeah.
But this is the other film from the top 5 that you rattled off that I do actually have on my own top 5 list, which is 1977's genre remolding romantic comedy Annie Hall, Woody Allen and Diane Keaton as a pair of hopelessly neurotic New Yorkers who cannot function with each other, somehow function even worse without each other, which becomes the model of the romantic comedy. Like prior to 1977, rom-coms are these like bouncy, wild farces about like clever people flirting with each other until they finally wind up together. It's really not until Annie Hall that we get this idea of like the cosmopolitan neurotic as like the main subject of a romantic comedy. And that's still, honestly, I mean, even as recently as something as like Marry Me, do we sort of get to Jennifer Lopez's character in that movie without Alvy and Annie from Annie Hall. So redefines a genre that I really love romantic comedies of this period, less so in the like 90s and 2000s. But so it does that. But it also presents this incredibly just rich and complicated story about memory and like living in your own nostalgia by sort of telling their story out of order and just grabbing chunks of it randomly. Like it doesn't really follow. Why are we looking at this part now as opposed to later? And it's just because, well, that's what Alvy was thinking of as he's narrating that part of the story. So this just really remarkably structured film, even more remarkably when you realize this movie was salvaged out of a different film entirely. It was written to be a murder mystery comedy called Anhedonia that they filmed it as a murder mystery. And in the editing room, Woody Allen realized that the only thing that was working at all was the relationship between these two characters. So he's just like, do we have the footage to turn it into a relationship comedy? This is the story. I don't see how that's possible, but this is a story that's been told for 50 years.
So without reshoots, without reshoots,
was able to carve this movie out of, I mean, it wasn't like a serious murder mystery. It was a farcical murder mystery.
I mean, he's done other murder
Manhattan murder mysteries.
Manhattan
Certainly, murder mystery is probably sort of what this would have looked like. But it's not like a Match Point, right? It's not like an actual murder mystery. But so it basically was like improvised in the editing room to become this really just remarkable rom-com about these two weirdos who fuck each other's lives up, but somehow were also the best time either one of them ever had.
Huh.
I fell asleep in this one. It was on my list, but I fell asleep. It was kind of a snoozer for me.
I sympathize. I understand that. You don't get When Harry Met Sally without this movie.
You specifically don't get without that is the one specific film you don't get without this. And if you don't get When Harry Met Sally, there's a lot of other films you don't get.
Right.
And
So you have to
Sleepless in Seattle, or You've Got Mail.
Yeah.
You get neither of those without When Harry Met Sally.
I think so. Yeah. I think that's the right. Kind of paying lineage to, or
there's a very
of
direct line of descent from those films.
Is there any cancellation that you get at all from having a Woody Allen movie on your list?
When I said that I was opening myself up to the cancel brigades, that's exactly what I was.
Oh, because you've had a couple on there. So.
Well, I mean, I didn't put Gone with the Wind. I mean, Lawrence of Arabia is just a little racist.
Oh, I see. So you're just working your way up. Okay.
Just you wait.
Okay.
If I've already played the Woody Allen card, just imagine what's in my top 2.
Okay. I can't wait.
I'm gonna look up something.
Is it? Please don't.
No more sexual assault. This is fascinating. Okay, no, I won't look this up anymore. Where the hell
this
is it?
Extraordinary podcast
This
content.
is.
Okay,
Gosh,
I'm sorry.
I mean, as excited as I am watching your face while you're doing this, I'll bet listening to you is even more exciting.
We talked about movies that were okay. It didn't make number one. I was going to say it's a crowd pleaser. It's my big crowd pleaser and Best Picture winner. Honestly,
your number 3 is
my number 3 is. Yeah,
okay.
it's a crowd pleaser. It didn't end up being number 1, and just by a lion's hair.
Okay.
Oh, wait, you will. Now
hair.
Tim knows what my movie is.
No, I still don't know.
Oh, okay.
Just by a lion's hair.
I know Tim doesn't, but it's a crowd pleaser.
It is.
It is scope and scale. It travels decades. The scope, the span of this movie covers everything.
Hair.
And you have to give it up that there's.
And I also, if I'm not mistaken, I think it actually was number 1 in 1994. I think Lion King took it over afterwards.
That's very possible.
I'm still not there.
Continue to re-release Lion King in theaters.
Hang on. So does it? Am I supposed to pick up on the lion or the hair?
Well, the lion hair. You won by a hair.
It is the number 2 movie of 1994 after The Lion King.
Correct. As of this date.
I am not confident that there is any more ham-fisted clue we could have given you than its year of release.
I'm trying to scan my list right now.
So, and it's a crowd pleaser. You have to give it up to him, technically innovative for the time.
Very much.
I was blown away. I had not seen the superimposing of people in. What's ringing?
That's your phone, Rob. Oh, wait.
It's coming from your head.
Oh. It's actually my phone.
Oh, interesting.
It's my mom.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
You're going to answer. You're going to take a call.
So we're doing this.
You're going to take a call?
Well, I guess.
Talk to your mom on the air.
I'll look at the 6 text messages that I quietly silenced my phone
I just
rather than deal with.
I'll call her right back.
See who's chatting with me.
My mom would love to be on the podcast sometime. So.
Was it my good friend Mark who texted me?
Oh my gosh! Okay.
No, it was my friend
You guys
Clint
are
who
the
texted
worst. It was So give me more clues. So it's
So 19. Now we know it's the same year. It's a crowd pleaser, technically innovative, and
crosses decades. You superimpose footage on old footage.
Gosh, I'm still
done so well. Again, as a kid at age 12, now you should be able to get there.
The Lord of the Rings.
No.
Famed 1990s cinema.
Starring your favorite actor of all time.
Tom Hanks?
That's right.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, Gobbers. Why did I say
No, it's not Gobbers. It's not Gobbers.
Is it Forrest Gump?
It is Forrest Gump.
Oh. So where's lion or hair in there?
Because The Lion King beat it at the box office.
Oh, jeez. This is a terrible clue. This is the worst clue.
Tim got there.
How was the second highest grossing American film and Best Picture winner of 1994 not a sufficient clue?
Tim got there. Fair. I really enjoy it. I think it was super innovative. It's a Shakespearean story, if you almost to a degree. It's an epic. It is an epic, and it's got your the crowd pleasing actor of Tom Hanks, spans decades.
It's got a big ass music score, 2 CDs worth of soundtrack.
Is this where that song that you hum comes from? I'm pretty sure. Hum it. You hum when you're anxious.
I do.
You hum the song.
No, that's Lord of the Dance.
That's Lord of the Dance.
What are you?
Which great song. I like it. I like the way it's repurposed into Aaron Copland's.
Oh yeah, lift up your voices. It goes like this. It goes. It's way too high, Rob.
Because Rob's is from the score.
It's like this. Do 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 do.
Yes, that is the main theme from Forrest Gump.
I kept telling Carrie it's from a frickin' movie, and she's like, "No, it's lift up your voices."
It's Alan Silvestri,
and it is probably lift up your voices.
Similar,
and then it does a little key change. They might very well have added lyrics to it later. That happens sometimes.
Longing to be heard. Yeah.
Thank you, Tim. Oh my gosh.
And Tim is like
every time she sings it, I'm like, what fucking movie? movie is this from? And
It
it's
is,
Forrest Gump.
Yeah, it's my centering hum, and I never knew where it was from.
Yeah.
That's so
Now we know.
interesting. And I haven't
This
seen
is
Forrest
not
Gump
on your
since
list?
'94. We've talked about
I
this.
know
said
that
it's so
it's
sad.
sad,
I know
but-
it's so sad. So the last time I saw
You
this, I
laugh,
was
you
in,
cry.
You laugh when?
Yes.
It's
I don't.
unrelenting.
Yeah.
It's so I saw this in '94. How old am I? 11.
11.
Too young, number
Okay.
one, to be seeing this. I was scarred. I didn't even know what like the sexual things that are in there. I didn't even know what that was yet. So like all of that was too much. That
You
was
mean with
overload.
his mom?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, I thought you didn't know that. I thought this was going to be the.
I think now I don't know. It's all sad in my head. I saw this in Tacoma, Georgia, or no, not Tacoma, Toccoa, Georgia, like in a tiny theater with like, and it smelled like urine and popcorn mixed together, which now I know it probably was
it
urine.
was probably me peeing someone peeing in the cup.
I
you
didn't
know.
think it at the time. And it was this tiny, tiny theater, and it was uncomfortable. And it was with my parents and my grandparents seeing it.
See, I feel like this is a good movie to see with the family.
I just left with a tummy ache. So anyway, I should probably watch it again. It's probably very good.
All right.
So that's your number 3.
Yeah, and so I think we're left with 2 for you, Carrie, because we haven't overlapped yet, which is strange.
Shocking.
In fact,
Shocking.
yeah, Tim and I overlapped, so I stole
Rob
Tim's number 1.
blatantly stealing what everybody in the world knew was going to be my number 1 just
Throwing
to
it out
make
there.
me look embarrassed. That's
right.
the only overlap we've had so far.
Well, you can find more details about all the movies we've watched at our website, alternateending.com. That's alternateending.com. Before we head to our break, you might be wondering about ways to support the show. Get early access and exclusive content. Make us watch a movie, pick your own episode topic, and more from our Patreon site, just like Brian Fowler has with this Best Picture podcast. Carrie, you wanted to do a little bit of plug-in for, speaking of podcasts, for reviews. We're getting up there in the numbers, closing in on that 200.
Yeah, we're really working towards it. So really, really appreciate everybody that's left them. And that includes C. Kill, who left the review that they are a first-time listener. And I can't wait to binge listen to the rest of the episodes.
Thank you.
I'll like tell you, maybe I'll like reach out if I can and let you know some specific ones to avoid, but otherwise enjoy. And also a Kansas girl who says, great reviews with a sense of H, ... Who knows what it could be? It's cut off. Humor, hunger.
Oh, sense of humor.
Maybe.
That makes sense.
Sense of hunger.
Yeah.
I love listening to these 3 talk. Not only are they funny, but also give great reviews. I definitely give them thumbs up. Really, really appreciate that. So yeah, you can go out and leave reviews wherever
Thank
you stream.
Kansas girl.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Next time I'm in Kansas, I'll look you up.
Same.
And anything in Tim's sack here?
We do.
We haven't been jangling the
Haven't
sack
rummaged around in
yet.
there for a while.
I don't even know where to start on this one. So, Tim, your sack's been bestowed not 1, but 2 gifts. And for the first gift that I'm going to give you,
If only. Had an orchiectomy back in 2005.
I'm not sure what an orchiectomy is.
Ball cutting out.
Oh, right. I did know that. Very technical term there, but thank you. Won't forget it. I want you to do something, Rob. I want you to set a timer. And then I want that timer to be set for 1 minute. Okay? Or 30 seconds. You guys decide. At the conclusion of that time, I want you to hit a sound effect that buzzes Tim out. Tim, you only have that amount of time to answer this question. You got it?
Okay, I have 30 seconds on the clock.
Oh, fuck off. She said a minute.
Okay, a minute.
All right, give him a minute. Give him a minute. Dear Tim, what is anime? Thanks, Gavin. Time starts now.
Japanese animation. No, anime would be, I don't use the term because I think it's imprecise, and this is why. You can use animation produced in Japan according to a specific aesthetic, or that aesthetic used in animation produced in other countries, such as, for example, Avatar: The Last Airbender. It is precisely because of that porousness that I don't like the term. If I use the term, I mean all animation produced in the country of Japan.
That's like champagne.
Style. Yeah.
Yeah, versus sparkling wine.
I would say it's very similar to that. But again, I think it's ambiguous, so I try to avoid the word for that reason.
Nice.
Well done.
Beat the timer. Hit it, Rob.
Got
Hit
it. Plenty of time
But I
left.
still want the sound effect.
I hit the sound effect. You just can't hear because you're not wearing headphones.
Oh, I see.
Oh, we actually have a soundboard?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got different
So can we
things.
do like toilet flushing and farts?
Yeah, for
I
sure.
could program those in. I've got some like stock ones here. What does this do?
I just think it would be too much,
Ooh, this
Tim,
is like a
though.
horror one that people just heard.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like
okay,
what,
you
like
leave
a
it.
scream?
Like do 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 do.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That'd be a
I've
good one to
got
pull
a-
out. Anytime Carrie starts talking and it's clear to you and I that it's going to be some sort of weird, like wildly missed the mark of the assignment, you should play that.
Like this. Oh no, that's
Rob,
not. I wanted
Rob,
a wah
too many.
wah.
It's too many. It's too many.
I found the wah wah.
Nice.
Oh, I like that you found the wah wah.
Yeah, it's
You'll
the green one.
be making wah wah wah.
Speaking of wah wah, I have another question for you. Hi all, hope everyone is doing well. Have a fun little question for all 3 hands on the sack that I figure I could shoot and get an
Don't do that,
answer real quick on. I have an answer to this, so I'm so curious to see what you guys are going to say. The situation is that you've started watching a movie around 11 to 11:30 p.m. And of course, while you're watching the whole thing in one sitting, it doesn't complete until the clock has chimed 12 a.m./midnight the following calendar day. Which date do you log your watch in Letterboxd? The earlier date where the watch began or the later date when the watch concluded? No judgment here. Just curious as a roll your toilet paper over or under, or which side of the bed do you get up from kind of question.
No.
All the best.
Here's my problem with that.
Because you have a clear way that you want your TV.
The toilet paper needs to be done. And there's also a clear way to log the movie as well, too.
Okay,
there is a clear way to do your toilet paper. And right now I'm doing it the other way because when I cat's paw at the toilet paper roll, it unrolls it. So I have backwards toilet paper and it makes me feel really upset.
Yeah. All right, I'm getting chills right now for some reason thinking about toilet paper. But which way is the correct way on the toilet paper first?
Over the front.
Over the where it comes down.
The side that is drooping is the side nearer to you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And I can't do that. I have to do it the other way.
Again, we come together sometimes and we agree.
Let's see if we agree on this.
The other way is just barbaric. I would just never do that.
I'm curious on the letterbox side.
All right, why don't you start, Rob?
Oh, I think it's obvious that it's the time you finish the film is when you log it, because it's just extending that example out further. If I start a movie today and I don't finish it until next week, even if I have 5 minutes left, I'm going to count it for when I finished it.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my logic.
That's very logical. Tim, what about you?
I think if I started a movie today and I don't finish it until next week, I start it over again next week.
Oh.
Wow. So you're still counting it as next week?
I mean, I don't count this as a viewing though because I didn't watch it. I watched some percentage of it. So in my older days, when I was keeping a full diary on paper of everything I saw, I counted the day that the start of time was. So if I started watching it at 11:59 on Thursday, it counted as Thursday. I have now begun counting in which day did I watch more than 50% of the film.
Okay.
Wow. So this is a thing that you actually wrestle with. Well,
unlike the two of you, I routinely watch movies that overlap midnight.
Yeah. It just doesn't happen for us.
That would never. Yeah. I can't remember the last time, or at least that we finished one. And I would say I'm a little bit different than both of you. I watch a movie and then I fall asleep immediately. And then maybe somewhere 3 to 7 days later, maybe 1 to 7 days even later, sometimes I'm having a snack like crackers or chips. And then I'm like, oh, I forgot I watched Red Panda. Or what's the movie we just watched? Red.
I called it that too earlier today. Turning Red.
Turning Red. Through your daughter. I don't think she knew what the hell you were talking
Turning
about.
Red. Let's say. And then I'm like, oh, shoot. I forgot I watched that 5 days ago. It's time to log it now. And then I'm like, when did I see that? Unknown. And then I pick a date. So we're all a little bit different on that, Sting, but really appreciate the question and a little peek behind how inaccurate we really are on our Letterboxd accounts. So if you too have a question like Sting or Gavin, you can submit your questions to alternate ending with a contact in front of that .com. That's contact@alternateending.com.
We're also going to be having a special Oscar recap episode following the Oscars. So speaking of, we also have ballots that are out, probably have been inundated with our pop-up window that's been on the site, reminding you to fill out your ballot.
As somebody who does not save cookies, I dump all the cookies out every time I turn off my browser. Every time I turn on my browser, I get that pop-up right back.
Have you filled it out?
It's been a very... I'm not eligible to. You already told me I'm not eligible.
Oh, you can still fill it out for fun.
I want to track your picks.
There will be a blog post with my picks.
That's true. But then I have to fill out the bracket to see how well you did. Oh well.
So get out there.
Fill out the ballot. You have until I think we get, just because of the whole
of the whole 8 thing, like they're doing some early, so it's going to probably leak if it's not outright announced. So we're just doing it that morning of.
Yeah, morning of. Was it Saturday?
Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay.
$50 to the person who most accurately guesses the best picture winners, and $50 just for being you and filling it out.
To one random person.
Yes,
not just everyone.
Not to everybody.
You know what? That whole thing was just like perfectly said.
Was it?
And then everyone knew what I meant, and then you just picked me down.
Okay. Also, want to thank our listeners who support the show and make their Amazon purchases through our site. Doing it is easy. Just go to our website, alternateending.com, click on the Amazon banner, and seamlessly go about your purchases. All proceeds go to making our show better. Since our last episode, here were the things that were purchased. Had some Kindle ebooks. Speaking of Lawrence of Arabia, had the Arabian Nights.
good one.
The Tale of Tales as well.
It's a classic.
The Oxford Handbook of Apocrypha.
What's an apocrypha? Is that what you had done to your ball?
Apocrypha, in one context, and given that we do have a theology student who buys books through our site, I imagine, the Apocrypha is a collection of books that, depending on what denomination of Christianity you subscribe to, may or may not be officially part of the Bible.
Wait, so when someone says that's apocryphal, is that like good? Is that a good or a bad word? Like meaning like
so when they say
you are
that's
religious
apocryphal,
or not religious?
No, when they say that's apocryphal, they mean that is something people believe to be true that isn't. The Apocrypha.
Got it.
It means something very specific.
Cool. Learning.
Yeah.
I'm learning here.
Taking it all in.
Also, I had some pet food and supplies. Pet favorites, Bushy Sparkle ball cat toy. God damn, the ordering of these words. It's an interactive glitter palm.
Don't say
Is this something for you?
So that was my mother ordered that for my cats because they love the little sparkly tinsel balls and they're hard to find at pet stores. So she ordered them and they played with them. They're very excited. And yesterday when she gave them to me at one point, just so you know that this isn't something I only do to you, she said, "Where's the cat's balls?"
Oh,
And
leave it, Tim. Leave
And
it.
I responded in kind.
Your poor mother.
We also had
What
some.
she deserves. She gave me. You don't give me that setup and then expect to walk away unscathed.
We also had some on-demand rentals, which I don't know how far the series goes. How far does Best of the Best go? The martial arts series starring Eric Roberts and
Well, it goes at least to 2.
well, it's 3.
I'm going to go with 4.
Best of the Best 3, No Turning Back was rented, and I'm just
Let
curious.
us
I
know
need to
how
go.
it is. Yeah.
I'm curious
Maybe
how far
I should
it goes.
do a Summer of Blood that's nothing but Best of the Best movies. Maybe there's like 14 of them. I don't know.
Hey, Eric Roberts isn't doing a whole lot, so I'm sure he'd come back to make some cameos for it. Also featuring someone you wouldn't think of as being a good martial artist, and that's Sean Penn's now deceased brother. Also in that movie.
Good fact.
What was his
Good
name?
fact.
I don't remember.
Oh my God, I can visualize him.
Yeah.
Chris.
Let's
Chris
focus.
Penn.
Chris
That's right.
Penn. Let's
Chris Penn.
focus on the list here.
Also had Medicine for the Melancholy. The Merchant of Venice. Has that been remade, or is that just the Al Pacino version? For the
Well, the Al Pacino version's not called Merchant of Venice.
what's that one called?
Is it called Merchant of Venice? Oh, I'm thinking of Looking for Richard, which is about Richard III. I don't know. Maybe it's called Merchant of Venice.
Okay, that's the only one I'm aware of. I like that pound of flesh kind of concept.
Yeah, you do.
That's
7
a good-
pounds.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good call. Also, The Accidental Tourist from 1988,
Okay.
not the remake. When we get back, our
It is
top.
a remake?
Oh, isn't it?
I don't think so.
With Johnny Depp?
That's The Tourist.
It's not.
No accidents.
He had some
did it on
accidents in
purpose.
it, but it
Okay.
wasn't in the
It
title.
was an accident that they made it so bad.
When we get back to our favorite Best Pictures. And welcome back to Alternating. We're wrapping up our top 5 Best Pictures with Carrie's number 2. Carrie, what's left in the chamber there?
I'm coming in with some real snoozers at the top. But again, trying to be honest, I didn't want to go with anything wacky or zany. These are truly the best of the best of the best. So I had to put them on here. And that's with my number 2.
Get ready for that wah-wah noise.
There's no wah-wah. There's no wah-wah. That's what I'm saying. There's no wah-wah. Because there normally would be a wah-wah. But I am being honest. And so you guys are going to love these movies. Everybody loves these movies. And that is why I chose a movie that recently won, that everybody loved. And I feel like I just talked about it a hot second ago. This is Parasite.
Oh my gosh. Line up.
For your number 2?
That's right.
Interesting.
And
Love it.
and based on that, I think we're going to line up the rest of the way.
Yeah.
This is going to be a 2 and a 1.
I was stealing my body so hard for you
We
to say
have
Green
not
Book.
been connecting very well lately. And so this is just like, it's kind of,
Yeah, I can't help.
It's a good
It's not
feeling.
a recency bias thing.
No.
I really love Parasite.
I did.
The more I
It's
think
such a
about it,
complete
Yeah.
movie for me.
this is the one where you all were talking horror thriller, and I thought that maybe
Oh.
I mean, it's
Oh,
not a
this-
horror.
yeah,
I
it
can
could
see
work.
where you were confused slightly.
Yeah.
It could work there. But no, for me, this was just such a complete movie. I love the message of the movie that it's trying to convey. We talked about it on our top 5 endings episode, which I was apparently a little unclear on what actually happened. But overarching, loved it. The humor of it.
Production, score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I tell you, and this is,
Messaging.
I don't want to go down, I don't want you guys to be gross at all. Okay. I'm going to just start there. So like, don't,
Okay.
I'm going to tell you the scene that I really love, but I don't want to elaborate on it is what I'm saying. Okay. But the scene where, you know what I'm talking about?
Where she gets her cheese.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, because we were saying orgasm cheese.
Oh, yeah.
I was trying to make it subtle.
It is the cheese.
I
don't think I like the word cheese in this context. I think that's what it is. I think that's what's happening here. But yes, that situation.
Rob is now having a thing going on off mic.
When they're on, there's a lot of layers here to what you're saying that I don't want to go down. But when they're on the couch and then there is a romantic moment that's happening, but they're hiding underneath the couch
awesome. That's a great scene.
And they're trying, it's such a tense scene and they're trying to get out. One of my favorite scenes from that movie of just like, I mean, you're sweating as a viewer watching that, like, oh my gosh, how awkward could that possibly be? So yeah, I have Parasite at number 2.
Me as well. Leaving Tim with his
You got
number
nothing
1.
to say about Parasite?
Production design, score, acting, plot,
story,
cinematography,
message, horror, like the horror element of it.
Yeah. Have you seen the black and white version, Tim? I understand
have
there's
not.
a black and white cut.
I
would be interested to give that a try to
think
see
the
if
color
that
matters.
But I think in this particular film,
I
think
haven't
it
seen
does
any of
matter.
those black and white redos. I'm very curious about the Mad Max Fury Road one, but the others are just sort of like,
Because does it make you pay attention? Like Mad Max, I could see because there's so much going on. Maybe it allows you to focus on things that, as a viewer with all of the sensory overload. By making it black and white, maybe you focus in on other things more. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if Parasite needs it. But it was shot. That's like one of the ones that was actually shot to be black and white.
Interesting.
I
didn't know
think.
that. Okay.
I don't know. Or lit.
I don't know.
In such a way. I don't know. Anyway.
So yeah, number 2.
So my number 2 is not going to be in any way, shape, or form about recency bias because it is the 3rd film to win Best Picture. Far and away the oldest film that we are talking about today, unless one of you comes in with wings and just shocks me. This is the 1930 incredibly potent, I've talked about this, anti-war film, All Quiet on the Western Front, directed by Louis Milestone. Maybe literally the first sound film that uses sound in like a masterful, like masterpiece level way. I kind of forget release dates, so that might not be 100% true, but it's certainly one of the first films for which most of its impact is because of the incredibly powerful way it uses sound. Also, just it's an all-round fuck you up the side of the head with its like potent anti-war imagery. I think that's the context I talked about it in, was its ending, in fact. So it's just really powerful formal object that just constantly hits you in the face with these strong emotions about, again, basically, war is just a charnel house, and we send our young men there to die completely frivolous, useless deaths. The end.
Is this your favorite Louis Milestone movie?
Probably. He is not a director of. I mean, he's not a director of no note. We don't have Louis Milestone fanboys.
Probably not a bad film to take a look at given today's conflict. It might be very.
Any conflict, anytime
that's
there's
the hard
war.
part, though. You watch these movies from years and years ago, and then you just realize again, like
that
the history repeats itself
Yeah.
over and over and over again. And I think that adds to my own madness of just feeling like, how can we possibly not learn from these mistakes?
But
and
still,
it's horrifying.
dumb.
But still,
I know.
But still, we're going on a cruise, and yet we have your number 1.
Oh, yeah, we do. We do, Rob.
Very proud of my segue.
That was shitty of you, but I love it.
We do, because is it also your number 1?
It's my number 1.
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh. And again,
I do love this movie.
You know what I told myself I wasn't going to do? What was the episode that this came up on where I cried?
Endings.
It was like
Endings.
very
It was recent.
Yeah.
It was there's some recency there. I promised myself that I was not going to listen back because I was pretty embarrassed. And then I was just like, let me just see if it's editable, like that I need to listen to be like, no, I need to edit this out. I think we do.
Did you go back now? And
I was like, oh, I sound like a mouse that's being squeezed like really tightly, but not enough to like die, but just enough to like get enough air out.
Yeah, but how's that different from any episode?
That's fair. But my crying is particularly annoying. So I'm horrified, but I don't want to go into the details of this movie, and I won't tell you how it ends because it is sad. But this is one of the, again, best movie of all time.
It's what
for
I
me.
said about Forrest Gump about
epic.
It's an epic. I mean, but this is like legit.
And this is a 5-star for Tim too.
A movie was not made even close to the scale at the time like that this was like the amount of money that went into making this is incredible.
Yeah,
Incredible.
This is old school Hollywood scale of just like, I mean, this is your Lawrence of Arabia style filmmaking, your Gone with the Wind style filmmaking, which part of the reason I thought about Titanic just as a like, haha, it's Titanic, it's great. In which case I would have stolen your number ones with my number 5.
Should've done it.
I decided I couldn't in good faith put Titanic on and not Gone with the Wind. And I wasn't going to put Gone with the Wind. But no, this is just such a massive fucking quantity of movie. It's so good.
She is. I saw her in an interview recently, and I think there's a little bit of actors.
Wait, who?
Kate
Winslet?
Kate Winslet was like in an interview for something. And I was thinking about how I would say 10, 15, like pre-social media days, I think famous people or people that were in movies were like on such a pillar. And I think part of it was because they had this mystique because you saw them in these movies and then you didn't know anything else about their life and what they were doing and how everything was going. And now with social media, I feel like, oh, I know what Chris Evans is up to. Like he tweets all the time. And I know what, I don't know, Sean Hayes is doing because he's on a podcast.
Wow.
I'm jumping around here.
That's a big jump.
It's a jump. But like with Kate Winslet, she still has that mystique for me of just like my jaw would drop if I saw you. I like, what world do you live in? What life do you have? And I still picture her as this person based on the character she plays in movies and probably again, rooted in this movie itself of just the scope and scale and her performance. So
we picked a bunch off our wall of fame here that we have our movie
That's
posters.
true.
Yeah,
That's
two off the wall.
So yeah,
so
that's
very
it.
fitting.
So we're finally is it to Tim's one?
No, that I took his one.
He stole my one ages
Casablanca.
Wow.
But so what I do want to ask, we do have 10 nominees this year, and I know that we'll be maybe disappointed if one gets it. Is there anyone that you'll be actively like angry about if it wins Best Picture?
Don't
like,
make me say that in front of Carrie.
I know.
You'd be mad at Coda.
I'd be mad if Coda wins.
I don't think
What should win?
It's deserving. I don't know if I'd be mad. I think I'd be mad at Don't Look Up, possibly.
I'd be mad if Don't Look Up won.
Yeah.
I have to finish Don't Look Up. Did I finish it? I did finish it.
You did? I don't know.
I've been watching it in parts.
Oh, no, you did.
Falling asleep. Yeah.
You did.
I liked that more than Tim liked that movie.
Yeah.
That's not a hard thing to do.
Yeah, I think it was just fine. But let me look at, I'm going to copy over here and look and see what else there is. Let's see.
So there's Nightmare Alley, Don't Look Up, Dune, Drive My Car, Belfast, Licorice Pizza, which we haven't seen, Power of the Dog, West Side Story, King Richard, and Coda.
Sound of Metal.
Sound of
That's
Metal.
last year.
She's
like my spreadsheet goes.
I wouldn't be mad at
sort of.
King Richard. I don't think it's an Oscar film, much like Coda. Like I wouldn't be mad at Coda.
Do you
but
want Power of the Dog? Do you think that Power of the Dog should win?
No, I think Power of the Dog's gonna win.
Oh, you think it is going to win?
I'll share my
Should or
prediction.
gonna.
I think it should, and I don't know. Dune is very good for me. Between those two are the should win to me.
All right. Tim, what do you think is gonna should and will?
I am becoming increasingly nudged towards the concern that Coda might win.
Well, yeah.
It just won the PGA.
Recent PGAs would indicate that as well.
I definitely think Power of the Dog should win, and I'm actually where you are, Rob. But for me, number 2 would be Dune.
It's just Coda is just too simple for an Oscar winner. Like, it's a cute, fine. It's a fun story.
Popcorn movie.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
With some cheese.
There's one thing I love. It's watching deaf people. It makes me feel so much better about myself. Because you know what's sad when you're sitting there in a movie theater and you're like, ugh, why is that person eating popcorn so loud? A deaf person wouldn't be able to hear that. So for them, no movie is a popcorn movie.
So, Carrie, is there one
You're going
of
to
the
hell.
ones of the ones
Straight there. Straight there.
of the ones you've seen? Is there one that you'd be actively mad about winning?
No, but I'm
Okay.
not actively happy about any of them either, I'd say.
Interesting. Okay.
Middle of the road for me.
All right. Well, we'll find out soon. Every week, we also ask you to submit your picks for our top 5. Based on those submissions, here are the audience's top 5. And it's a great list. I really love this list, mainly because
it
some of
overlaps
my
with
films
yours.
are on there.
Oh, sure.
All About Eve at number 5.
Okay, sure.
Tie for 4th. I think movies that you love, Amadeus and The Godfather.
I am a ranks Godfather 2 over Godfather 1 type. but,
Okay.
yeah.
Then at number 2, Lawrence of Arabia. And number 1, no doubt, Casablanca.
Oh,
Yeah,
no
number-
Titanic.
Number 1, like far and away the best, according to our audience. And our winner this week was Becky Woodward. Who's new. I haven't seen Becky's name on the site before.
I haven't either. And I was so perplexed because she left her list on there. And then there was this going back and forth of like, is she joking? Is she serious? And then people realized she was joking, but I kind of liked her list. So then I'm like, but what if she's not joking?
She's basically picked very Carrie movies. So
I know.
I think it is a bit of sarcasm, but then
But
I
what if
also
it's
don't want to.
not?
I don't want to poke fun at her. So
Right.
Cimarron, Oliver, American Beauty, Crash, and Green Book. That's okay.
Carrie-
You should be sorry for this list.
It is a
Joking.
joke list. No one alive thinks that Cimarron is the best film to win Best Picture.
But here's my thing. What if it is? Like, that was my worry.
If I thank you for submitting your list and for congratulations, Becky. If Becky sincerely thinks that Cimarron is a top 5 Best Picture winner, Becky does not deserve dignity.
And nor will she be getting the Amazon
No,
rental.
she should get
I'm
it,
joking.
and for being subjected to that. But no one thinks that about Cimarron. And for the other 4, I wouldn't know. Cimarron is the giveaway.
okay.
That's the giveaway that it's a joke.
Well, thanks, Becky.
Yeah, Carrie wasn't clear because of the Green Book. American Beauty is fine.
I don't know.
Yeah, Crash I know is like one of the hated
It is.
Oscar
Okay.
winners, but I don't know if it's that
No,
terrible.
Cimarron is the worst Best Picture winner. I've seen all 93, so I know that for a fact.
To me, she also says, to me, these are the best because they capture what the Best Pictures awards are all about and what I look forward
there's
to
the
each year.
sarcasm.
May they
There's
never
the sarcasm.
change. May they never
I did not
change.
read the
Yes.
sarcasm at all. I was like,
That is someone who thinks the Oscars are a big pile of bullshit. And
well, very good,
Now
Becky.
It
you're
was
my
very
favorite, Becky.
well
Thank you
accoladed
very
by
much,
everybody
and
on the site.
Let's give it 2.
It was amazing though, because this just speaks to the community, which is amazing. Of like, everybody was just like upvoting, like, so everyone was upvoting her comment, but like nobody said anything for a while, and because I think no one was sure.
You
at
weren't
first.
in on the joke.
Oh,
There.
no. Yeah.
Becky, shoot us an email at contact@alternatending.com for details on how to claim your free Amazon movie rental. If you want to win a free Amazon movie like Becky, be on the lookout for our top 5 posts. In closing, I want to thank everybody for listening. Head out to our Facebook page and like it. Twitter, where we're tweeting all the time. Instagram, where we're Instagramming all the time. alternatending.com and find all our movie reviews, podcasts, and more. YouTube and Facebook for all of our videos. Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or Google. And don't forget about Patreon. As I mentioned, for next week's special episode, following the Oscars, we're going to have a special Oscar recap. We'll catch you then.